Good morning. We'll continue with our next discussion. That is about super. In the last class, we started our discussion about inheritance and we'll proceed further to understand how this particular super works. Before that, just I'll share the screen. So the next keyword, super. There are two things you should know about super. That is using super to call superclass constructors. That is the first one. And how to deal with that, we'll discuss today. And second one, to access the members by the same name in the superclass as well as subclass. How to differentiate, that we'll discuss. So this is very important question with respect to exam. Okay, so first one, using super to call superclass constructor. See, we already observed that if we are having a class A and with that we return one default constructor and parameterized constructor which takes three particular arguments, that is width, height and depth, and the local variable is initialized to the instance variables. That's what we observed here. And when you are doing the inheritance, it will be like this, is it not? Class B, which extends A, and let us consider we are having a separate one more variable, that is weight, inside class B. As B is inheriting A, the variables, that is width, height, depth, also inherits. Along with that, B is having its own variable, that is weight. Now, when you are initializing this, okay, that means the variable, when you will initialize, uh, you are passing four particular data to our constructor, and then that will be once again initialized in our constructor B. So this is what we are observing when you are passing four values. Okay, like when you represented width, height and depth, okay, which will be initialized once again. Even though, see, when you are creating the constructor of type A, this will be initialized. When you are declaring the constructor of type B, along with this, one more variable, what is defined inside B, that also will be initialized. But instead of repeating this task, okay, if you write, see, this is repeated, is it not? These things which already in the base class we are performing in the super class, and once again you are doing that as you inherited. Okay, instead of this, okay, you just scratch that and you just write super. See, super is a small letter. Okay, super is a keyword where you are passing this to constructor. See, using super to call superclass constructor. That means which WHD, which is already initialized in the base class. So you pass this parameter. See, this indicates super W, H, D. You are transferring to our base class. So that's what happening here. Super W, H, D. And only weight is defined inside B. So you are initializing that. Other things you are passing to super. Okay. So super from our subclass, we are passing to our superclass constructor. Okay. So that is first property, like how you can utilize super to pass the information to its particular superclass. Next, second, see, we are having one class which contains one variable I, and class B which extends A, which also contains the same variable, that is I. See, base class, that is super class, is also having one variable I. In the extended class also we are having the variable with the same name, member with the same name. Okay, now see, inside this method I am printing I. This I belongs to what? This I belongs to what is defined in B. Okay, this I belongs to this. Super dot I. Super dot I means what is defined in its super class. See the difference. Okay, when you are invoking the method, see, I'll write one class C, and in that using B's object, okay, I'll invoke the method dot show. Okay, dot show. If I call, the value will be displayed. If I initialize I is equal to 5 means you will get 5 here. But what about super dot I? Super dot I, if I initialize I is equal to 7, then you will get 7 here. Okay, the member with the same name in the base class and subclass. Then how to differentiate? You are mentioning super dot I. See, only it is for the next above class. That means you can deal with this with super and sub. One is between these two. If I am creating some class inside that, if I call super dot I, it will not work. Okay, only immediate above the class. Okay, because B extends from A, and B can call super dot method or super dot variable, so that the method and variable which is in our class A, that will be executed. Okay, so very important. Two uses, as I told the previous one. You have to represent this question with example. You have to tell in the constructor, instead of repeating the same, you can just call super and you can pass the information to its super class. Okay, that is one use. Second one, you just write variable with the same name with the superclass as well as subclass, and you just inform how to invoke that name by just calling that name in B and calling super dot I. That indicates its superclass variable. Okay? So that is what the use of super. See, if you remember, I hope you are remembering when we discussed static, I told that super is, you can't apply static to super. Okay, so that's one thing if you remember, and that's what super means, just to indicate, just to differentiate. Okay, indicate in the constructor and just to differentiate variable in the same class and extended class. Next, see, when you are mentioning this, okay, if you're not defining super I, what happens whenever you are writing I, it indicates this itself, even though B contains all the characteristics of A, but this hides I in class A. Okay, that's why you have to use super. Okay, so this one we are highlighting super dot I. You just observe S is small letter. Next, I'll take one example. Okay, I written one class A where class B extends A, class C extends B. Okay, like A and B extends A and C extends B. Okay, multi-level inheritance. That's what we return. Now, when you are doing this, just will invoke one constructor A, system.out.print. Then class B, that also having the constructor B. C is also one constructor C. See, just observe that A with constructor, B with constructor, C with constructor. If you observe, just I'll focus. See this constructor A class, then B class, and C class. Okay. Now, what we'll do is inside class D. Okay. Inside class D, what I'll do is I'll invoke C. I'll create object of type C. All A and B are accessible, but still I just create one object of type C. If you execute this program, okay, the output what you will get is I am A, I am B, I am C. Why this? Because as soon you will invoke C, it will come to this constructor. As it extends from B, this will invoke the constructor of B. As it extends from A, it will invoke constructor of A. See this, you just created the object of type C, but C is extending the class B, okay, and B is actually extending class A. Like that, the constructor will work. That means whenever inheritance is there, okay, constructor also plays very important role. Automatically, subclass will call its superclass. If you observe carefully once again, because the object when you are created or you initialize it, the particular class, it always observe from which class it is actually extended. It will invoke that also, okay, and this will invoke this also. Okay? So that's what, because this is what the basic, like how the constructor, when you are creating any instance of the class, automatically how constructor will initialize. In yesterday, I given one example, like see inside any particular class, even though if you not write anything, but if you write in block, it also like a constructor itself, default constructor, whatever you print inside that, that will be invoked. Okay, like a static block, you know, that will be executed before main. Okay, but this will be invoked when you are creating the object. Name is not necessary. It thinks that it is default constructor. Okay, so that is what another information which you should know. And one more question, just somebody asked, how many static you can write? You can write any number of static block. There is no restriction. Like I'll write one static block, and after some time I'll write one more static block. Okay, so this will execute. This will execute. Then it will come to the main. Okay, and when you are writing that, which static will execute first, this one or this one? That is the order of execution is how you return like that. This will execute first, then this will execute. Okay, it will not randomly check. Okay, it is sequential. First one will be executed and then second one. Like that, the entire process will continue. Next, after discussing this, okay, we'll move to next important concept, that is called method overriding. We know method overloading, is it not? What is method overloading? See, you should be in a position to write immediately, like class A, which contains, always remember M1, okay, and void M1 int. You just write, that's all. If you write like this, that itself sufficient. Method with the same name and different types of arguments. That's what overloading. Okay, and here overriding, that is something different from overloading, and how to work with overloading, what is overloading, that we'll just observe. See, consider a class A with method M1. Okay, one method I written inside a class, and I'll extend, that is I'll write a class B which extends A. There also I written same name, same argument, okay, same method, but it is just typing I am in B. Okay, see, base class, inherited class, same name. If you write, it is called method overriding. See how if I write m1 with int makes overloading, okay, but m1, but it is in one base class and it is in extended class, okay? That makes overriding. Why it is called overriding? That is, if I create a class, okay, if I create a class, let us consider I'll create one class C, public static void main. Always make a practice of writing this public static void main, okay. We'll write that. Now I'll create object of type B, ob.new B. See, object of type B I have written. Now if I invoke ob.m1, okay, because I created the object of type B which are extends from A, and I'm invoking ob.m1. So what is the output I'll get? I'll get the output I am in B. I'll not get the output I am in A, even though that is also M1 method, because M1 in B will override M1 in A. Okay, it will hide, and the word we are using is override. It will override, so that when you are creating the object of type B, if you wanted to invoke M1 in A, means you have to create the object of type A. So nothing special in that. ob2 new A, and then you have to invoke ob2.m1, means this will come. But when you are writing, because you know that if we are having other method like a void m2, if it is inside class A, if I write obm2, it will invoke, is it not? Because as it is extending from A, all the properties of A will come to B. But m1 also comes, and but it will avoid that m1. That concept is called overriding. Okay, overriding. How to write the example? Well, you write one class, one method, and you extend that class, you write the same method, and you just show that when you invoke that, this will display not this one. Okay, the concept is called method overriding. So why overridden method? Because when you know that your subclass will avoid our base class method if it is the same name, then why? So it allows Java to support runtime polymorphism. See, now so far we know polymorphism means only overloading. Overriding also polymorphism. It is another way to implement one interface, multiple methods. Very important. That's what polymorphism is, it not? One interface, multiple methods. What actually it is? Superclass will write a general form of method that will be used by subclass, because it is normally possible when you are writing this. Okay, see, just here I not written any particular example, but when you are writing that, okay, generally where this type of application will come, that also you should know, is it not? As an example, just I show one method m1, and your subclass is also writing that itself. But generally these type of concepts will come in the design. That means if you are writing like one class, okay, uh, some particular A which writes one method, that is basic method, that is find the area. Okay, this syntax I will give. And class B, class circle, let us consider, which extends A. Okay, they will write the same method area. It indicates area of a circle. And class triangle, if we are extending from A itself, That also writes one method area that indicates area of a triangle. So it is a good design option because if I refer circle class, the area means I will get the area of a circle. If it is triangles class method means it is area of a triangle. The base class will give the particular template like area method you can find out. If you remember virtual function in C++, it works like that. Okay. Now, see, superclass write a general form of a method that will be used by subclasses according to their requirement. Okay, and dynamic runtime polymorphism is one of the most powerful mechanisms that object-oriented design brings to bear on code reuse and robustness. See, code reuse, inheritance means reusability, and along with that, polymorphism, it adds more robustness. Okay, in the code. And when you represent, see this class A, which is having one method, okay, because how this runtime polymorphism, okay, if somebody asks how our Java supports runtime polymorphism, means you have to show this example. Let us consider one class A, okay, which contains one method M1. Let us consider one more class B which extends from A, which also contains the method M1 itself. And we'll write one more class C. See, the hierarchy will be like this: A and B and C. B extends A, C also extends A. A is also having method M1, B is also having method M1, C is also having method M1. Now we'll write the class A, okay, and public static void main. Inside that, we'll make it some A1 or AA something. You should not give the same name, okay. I'll make it D. I'll make it D. Now, I'll create first one object of type A. I'll create one object of type A, and I'll create an object of type B, and I'll create object of type C. See, three objects I have created. A subject, B subject, C subject. Now, along with that, I'll create one reference to superclass. Okay, I'll make a reference to superclass. Just reference. I have not created any object once again. Just I am referring. Now, see, first I'll assign A to that. I already instantiated A, is it not? Now I'll assign for R A. And now I'll invoke the method R.M1. So which actually it is pointing to this. Now I'll assign R to B. If I invoke a method, it is pointing to this same one. Now I'll assign R to C, and if I invoke, it is pointing to this method. Okay, see how the reference will change when you initialize it R to A, R to B, R to C. Its object reference is changed. This particular concept is what runtime polymorphism, that is what dynamic method dispatch. Okay, dynamically it's pointing to A, and when you assign the R equals B, it is pointing to, see the location, it is A, it is pointing to B, it is pointing to C. See R, dynamically it is changing. When you initialize this is pointing to that location. And after next instruction, when it executes, it is pointing to this. And next, it is pointing to this. Like that, runtime, you are changing. So, runtime polymorphism, the advantage is this itself. Like the reference, as you go on changing, it is pointing to that particular type of particular object and the method inside that. So that's what about dynamic method dispatch. So these are the information about the inheritance, and now just we'll go through how method overloading and method overriding, very important question. Overloading. Overloading occurs in the same class. See, one class means there itself we are writing class A. See, immediately I'll write, okay. Please learn overloading means you just write one method M1, you just write system.out.print something, and after that in the same class you write one more method with the same name but arguments int, like that. You can write one more method where M1 you just give two more methods. So this is what method overloading, is it not? But overriding means occurs in different class. A different class means how? Class A, which contains the method M1, okay, and you make inheritance. Inheritance is compulsory, okay. B, which extends A, okay. There also same method. See, it's very simple. Whether these theories you are writing or not, but this particular example you have to write. Okay, this indicates overloading. This indicates overriding. Overriding means inheritance must, and same method. See, arguments also same. Inheritance not involved. Overloading no inheritance, is it not? In the same class. But here inheritance is must. Without inheritance, you can't do any override. Parameters must be different. It's compulsory. Then only it is called overloading. But here parameters must be same. Same name, same argument. That's what our overriding tells. But in different class. Okay. And one method will not hide another. Here, if I am invoking M1 default means it will go to this. M1 with parameter, it will go to this one parameter. If I am passing two parameter, it will go to this. But here it is not like that. One method will hide another. If I create the object of type B, it will not allow to access this. It thinks that it is pointing to this particular method, which is defined in subclass. That's why it is called overriding. Okay, and separately I have to invoke this particular method. And that's what the difference. Okay, repeatedly I'm telling you learn how to represent the answer. If you write it like this, it is called overloading. If you write like this, it is called overriding. After learning, we learned so many things related to inheritance. Okay, overall, it looks like this. Inheritance means that normally it is super and it is having subclass. See, normally the concept of this particular inheritance is generalization to specialization. Okay, specialization. Generalization is what? Base class, super class, okay. But specialization is subclass. According to your wish, you can do the things, but some properties you will inherit. That's what you can. This will learn new things along with the inherited property from its parent. So that's what about inheritance, and we'll learn more about final and how that will reflect, because I postponed final so that to discuss that after the inheritance. In next class, we'll deal with final. Thank you. Have a good day.